Jake, you want to go through and talk about some waiver wire pickups now? The people have to get their, like, we're at the point where these are like drastically probably more important than sometimes at the beginning of the year with fantasy playoffs approaching. So let's talk about some running backs you like. Gus the Bus was the first guy on your list.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him.
Yeah, Gus Edwards mostly because J.K. Dobbins is highly owned, and you're not going to find J.K. Dobbins. But the good news here is if you were like me and on Dobbins, you were right. If you were on Edwards and you disagreed with me, you were right. You were right on both of them. And Mark Ingram sounds like he's probably going to be out again this week. I don't think you'll see 45, it was 47 or 48 rushes out of that backfield if you include Lamar Jackson. But if you gave me 30 rushes per week out of this backfield, which I think is very reasonable for who the Ravens are, that means you're getting close to about 15 carries before you even involve the passing game of Dobbins and Edwards. So Edwards is the one that's available in a lot of leagues. You can go use him. He'll also be the goal line option. As you saw, they were both on the field, and they gave the short. He was basically in that fullback spot, and they gave that quick snap to him for that touchdown. So I think Gus Edwards is the one. I mentioned to you, JaMychal Hasty. I'm looking at my list right now. I mentioned Edwards, Hasty, Wilkins. It's not a great week. JaMychal Hasty, because I don't trust the 49ers and Shanahan, but they're down to 2 running backs. It's McKinnon and Hasty now because Tevin Coleman came back and got hurt. So Hasty, very similar to McKinnon, but healthier, quote unquote, according to Shanahan. And then I don't like Wilkins as a talent compared to Jonathan Taylor, but Jonathan Taylor, the report that we were just getting today, the reason that his usage was a little bit down and he didn't look so great, because if you just watch that game, you would have said that, like, if you didn't know who Jonathan Taylor was, you didn't know those running backs, you would say that's the worst running back in that backfield.
Looks like
apparently he's dealing with he looked like Trent Richardson yesterday, but before that game, he looked really good. He was on a really good pace this year. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, it sounds like he's not 100%. So if he's not, and maybe they even give him a week out, again, I don't love Wilkins, but if Wilkins is going to be the lead option, it's not Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines still barely was on the field. He just happened to catch 2 touchdowns for his brief time out there.
He does this like once or twice a year, right? It's like chasing it just feels.
It was
like
back in week 1.
Yeah, no, I'm just like once or twice a year he has like a 2 touchdown game and then disappears for the rest of the season. It's like literally the running back version, I guess the pass catching running back version of like Asiata back in the day was just come in and randomly get 3 touchdowns out of nowhere. So yeah, I'm not chasing that one for sure. Yeah, Asiata, let's go. I guess as the resident Vikings fan that everyone wants to shove down my throat, which is not true. All right. I guess the only thing I'll say about Gus the Bus, we were talking a little bit about percentage of red zone, either passes or rushes. Baltimore leads the league in rushing in the red zone, but there's a guy named Lamar Jackson there that's probably going to have something to say about some of those touchdowns. So that's an issue for sure. But
dude, can I get a sidebar real quick on that? Mm-hmm. I was watching a lot of that game. I cringe every time he takes a carry inside the 10-yard line, just because I'm like, don't get hurt. And the Steelers were hitting him hard. I'm not saying like it's, they weren't trying to hurt him like they weren't doing it wrong. They were trying to lick him. They were trying to give him some good shots, and they were. And I was legitimately worried about him every single time he did that.
The last thing I want to see, man, is like everyone just ripping him for like regressing as a passer, and then he gets hurt. So all offseason we're gonna have to talk about, is Lamar Jackson done? Like, it's just like I don't want that narrative in my life. I want Lamar Jackson, especially this week at his price point. Are you kidding me? He's extremely cheap. So I hope we see a rebound from Lamar. Better for the NFL overall. So at wide receiver this week, looks like you're making a decision between either Russell Gage or Olamide Zaccheaus in Atlanta as a potential waiver pickup this week.
Yeah, the Cleveland situation with Higgins and Kadarius Hodge. And then the top one, obviously, is if Jalen Reagor's out there. I don't know what more you need to see in his first game back to say Jalen Reagor should not be sitting on waivers. But just in case he is, that's the obvious one. Yeah, the Russell Gage situation we saw at the beginning of the season, he's a really good slot option. Zaccheaus is similar, but I like Zaccheaus more for his upside. Somebody that came out of Virginia, a little bit more ceiling in his game, in my opinion. I think both of them need to be picked up because Calvin Ridley's out for, it sounds like, at least 2 weeks. I don't think they officially put him on the IR yet, but because they were hoping he's coming back. But he's going to miss at least this week, if not more. So both these games, and the fact is the Falcons passing game, you want a piece of it, whoever's lining up alongside Julio Jones. So I think you can go for both. I prefer Zaccheaus a little bit more than Gage, but both of them need to be owned. And then the Cleveland situation, that was Hodge's first game back, and he was out there the second most. I don't think he even got a reception in that game. But while everybody's going after Higgins, and rightfully so because he's the number one, understand, similar to Traquan Smith, when everybody's out for the Saints, Denzel Mims, Denzel Mims started off hot yesterday, but the Chiefs said, "Oh, you're going to try to throw this guy? We'll take him away." And guess what? You have nothing left because you have Braxton Berrios and Jeff Smith. Same concern I have for Higgins is that he's going to get number one treatment from defenses, and I don't think he's a talent that can overcome that. So I would look to Hodge while everybody else is trying to chase Higgins and Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I like it. One thing I was looking at, Olamide Zaccheaus, his best comparable at playerprofiler.com, Jamison Crowder. So if you're looking for an idea of like what type of player he is, I think that's a pretty solid comparison overall. Kind of a smaller guy, but definitely a relatively decent route runner, can get it done kind of in the intermediate area. Like you said, having access to kind of that offense is something that going into the fantasy playoffs, you're definitely going to want to be exposed to. Anything else on the waiver wire week? I guess this week it seems like it's a little bit thin overall. Does that happen towards like the end, I guess, going in to kind of the later half of the fantasy season?
Yeah, it always starts to get thin. I'll say the same thing. So it's sad. The streaming options at quarterback and defense too. If you guys check out the article, it's a rough week all around. But I continue to hammer this point home, basically starting in week 4 or 5, like a while ago, is the next man up running backs. Go make sure they're not sitting out there because everybody's chasing. They want, you just mentioned it, like at this point in the season, people are begging for options. They're trying to start LaMichael Pirine. They're trying to start anybody with a pulse in the backfield. Madison, I know he didn't do anything when Cook got hurt, but Madison, these are a few of the names. Pollard, Brian Hill, Matt Breida, Royce Freeman. If anything happens to one of these running backs, these guys, even Dearness Johnson, until we officially get Nick Chubb coming back, these guys have to be off of waivers and on teams because then you're just going to be like going crazy to try and get them on waivers when you could have had them for free.
Crazy, man. You've been saying it for weeks, and there's going to be like literally there's going to be a week probably very soon where like heaven forbid there's going to be like a big time running back that goes down, and you don't want to be that guy that just like passed on next man up on the waiver wire for some of these offenses, right? So don't be that guy. Those are more valuable than some of these like depth wide receivers you have on your roster. Is that?
Oh, you can always find wide receivers.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If somebody drops Mike Davis, go pick him up immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure. All right. Well, anything else, Jake? Let the people know about everything going on at The Athletic. Obviously, you got a nice promo code for the Line Movement crowd, and then we'll get you out of here a little bit earlier today.
Yeah, still $1 to join for you guys if you go to theathletic.com/line movement. So you can check out the waiver column and all the good stuff over there. My adjusted points allowed, which helps you with DFS. I talk about it occasionally on this show, but it's what I use for a lot of things like the Packers matchup. Although that one's obvious at this point, but it definitely helps. So yeah, good times. Yeah, what are you doing? Get me out of here early today.
I don't know, man. We were like behind, and now we're ahead. I don't know. You should have given me a heads up that the waiver wire was just such a joke. I tried
to push back on running back, and you're like, "Oh, I'm the host. We need to move along."
Well, anyone that I guess is watching this video and hasn't checked out the first look, the DFS first look, Jake told us that he's going to be playing the Thunderdome this week since he would have won it last week. So I'll be looking forward to sweating your team in the 5K entry on DraftKings, man. Best of luck in week 7. Final thoughts, go spend some time with your dog, man. Like you're so busy. I think that like it's the least I can do is at least give you a little bit of a lighter Monday.
A lighter Monday, yeah. I haven't slept. I won't sleep until January. I got plenty of time. Barkley, for a person who just asked, Barkley's over there sleeping as we speak.
I wish I was Barkley right now. All right, man. Everyone follow Jake on Twitter. He's at AllinKid. Best of luck in week 9, my friend. Talk to you later.
All right, go enjoy the game and check the corners.
See ya. Jake Seeley, everybody. It's always fun going through. Like, I don't think there's a better person out there to like go through like a true first look, because Jake is just so tied into like everything that's going on in the NFL. I have like some biases I need to get through sometimes from the week before. Jake's pretty good at like sifting his way through those narratives and just getting to the quote unquote best plays is what the beginning of the week is all about. So we got about 180 people here in chat, a couple people over on Twitch also. So make sure you come join us on YouTube. That's where the majority of this conversation will lead us through getting through some of those best plays. If you're here for the first time, would love it if you consider subscribing to the channel. I'm here every Monday and Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, also on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. A couple weeks ago, we hit over 1,000 people live on Sunday morning, so that was a great time. If anyone is wondering, we do have a Patreon now, so this is something that I thought would be a great way to kind of build a great community that we have in these live streams, in the chat. how we got to keep this conversation going after those live streams, right? So it's $1 per month, 25 cents a week. You get access to our premium Discord chat, also our exclusive weekly DraftKings tournament. So the prizes are basically dependent on how many Patreons we have. The first week we did a $20 Amazon gift card. Now we did a $30 Amazon gift card last week. This week, depending on how many Patreons we get, we're at 168 right now. So I'll announce what the prize will be on the Wednesday stream. So don't miss that. Obviously, there is an exclusive 30 to 15 minute live stream directly before NFL kickoff. That is not on YouTube. That is only in the Discord for the Patreon. So kind of my final thoughts. We'll go through roster construction, all that good stuff. And then we'll sweat the games together as a community, have the Red Zone stream room in there. That's been really cool.